My name is Navin Sharma. I'm a VP of Insights and Analytics for Arby's restaurant group. I oversee our consumer insights and our marketing analytics, our pricing, and some other special strategy areas that we do. I think the first thing that's very important for Arby's is we're all about the guest experience. The guests are critical for us to do well as a company, and we want our guests to be happy, and that starts with our food. So we strive to have delicious food in our restaurant, and we want to make sure that that's a main component of our guest experience. We also want to make it right. So that's the other thing we strive to do in the restaurants today, is make sure that the guests have delicious food, they're happy in the restaurant, and we make it right no matter what. So we could get many types of feedback, and it grows and grows as time goes on because of new technology. So historically, the feedback was probably just a phone call to our support center. It could be a dialogue with one of our employees in the restaurant, or it could be a letter. And now we've gotten to the point where we have online surveys. We do interactions in our restaurant where we send researchers in to ask questions to our guests about the food or the environment. We have social has become really big these days, so a lot of people tweet about Arby's, write to us on Facebook, write to us, take pictures on Instagram and many of the other different social channels, which we have our own feed at Arby's that we monitor, but we also like to communicate with our guests through that and try to direct capture the great experiences that we have a lot, and then talk to them further about something where we could have, made their experience even better than it was. For just a social aspect, we like to connect with our guests and be part of, talk to them about other things that are going on in their life, stay connected to the things that are important to them, whether it's, a debut of a new show or an award ceremony that's going on or something else. If they did have a specific thing they wanted us to address in our restaurant, we generally work with them through another channel to address that, such as our help desk, or we have a different Twitter feed that captures those interactions. One of our big hits was the Pharrell hat. So he showed up to an award ceremony and he wears a Vivienne Westwood hat, which looks like an Arby's hat. So we actually tweeted at him, and this is, a director of social media tweeted at him, "Hey Pharrell, can we have our hat back?" And people loved it. It was, we were staying our brand persona, and he responded. He asked us, "Are we trying to start a roast beef?" So, playing on the pun, and we went back and forth, and it was a very, natural interaction through social media that was great for us. Our guests we want them to be frequent visitors to Arby's, and we want Arby's to be part of their life, and not more because we want them to come in and enjoy our food and enjoy our restaurants and enjoy the experience. And to make sure that's happening, we want to know how they interact with our brand outside of the restaurant, whether it's through TV or social or radio, other types of digital. So we measure, how do guests respond to any activity that we're running there? How do they feel about our brand, which is just overall, how do they feel about us? And then if we're doing well and they're coming into the restaurant, we make sure that we perform well in the restaurant setting with the food. Are our team members working well? Are they serving our guests well? Are they making our guests happy? So we do that in a number of different ways, whether it be surveys, in-store interactions. We have a guest survey where it's called Arby's Promise Check, where we measure whether they are happy with their experience, do they like the food. It's essentially a voice of customer survey that we run. And then we also respond to them through the phone or an email or anything like that. And then we'll capture anything that comes up, both positive and negative, we build on the positive. But if something's not as positive, we work to make that better. And either it's an immediate change to the restaurant, or it could be a new pilot, as in a new restaurant format, or changing our food around, or something like that to address it. Well, for us, big data is that we can get data from so many different sources. We talked about social. There's just reams of data coming in through Twitter all the time. Every transaction that goes through the restaurant is data also. So you come in, you buy one of our classic roast beef sandwiches, a Pepsi, and curly fries. That's data we get in, and we know when you came in. Because of the check, we'll know someone came in at lunchtime, let's say 12:15, and bought this, and they had the meal. So that's data that we get. We also get all the feedback. We get other data such as how do people feel about the brand. There's brand tracking data. There's voice of the customer data. There's advertising data. When did our ads run? How did our sales do? How did people feel about our advertising? So we like to tie all of that together to see how that's driving our sales and how that's driving our brand perception. And one of the neat things we can do is we're looking to figure out how do we tie a customer across all of these. And we're not fully there yet. One of the challenges on QSR is that we have a lot of anonymous customers because most QSRs don't have loyalty programs. They're mainly cash customers as well. Some of our competitors are not really our competitors. Some of the other companies in retail or hotels that we heard from have a lot of credit card transactions and loyalty programs where they can tie a customer together. So we look to see how we can tie people together if they are using a credit card. It's all anonymous, but we know if someone comes in and they buy the same product over and over, or do they buy different products. But we can also do psychographic tracking or longitudinal studies to see how a change in our guest experience that we put into the restaurant is driving a change in perception and purchase behavior. From our traditional research, which is very attitudinal, we get people telling us, I believe this. When I come into Arby's, I do this. When I come into Arby's, I wish this were a little bit better. But we want to make sure that when we make a change, that people's behaviors are changing as well. And all of these new big data sources allow us to measure how people's behaviors are changing, still in an anonymous way, but we can see how people are shifting from one area into another area. And that's really neat to see if an attitude change is actually driving a behavior change in the restaurant.